Hey guys, Tony here from TheFishGeeks. So today I'm showing you a 55-gallon planted tank with 4 angelfish. This used to be a tank of mine back when I lived at home, but since I moved away I was unable to take this tank with me. As a lot of you guys know, moving 55 gallons of water and fish and a tank is very difficult. So when I moved several states away, this tank had to stay. So this is a very old tank. I've had this set up for quite a while. And in this tank I have 4 angelfish, which you can see there in the foreground. I have 2 pairs, so I have 2 males and 2 females. And those 2 pairs have also bred in this tank, but the eggs haven't been able to hatch. I don't know if it's just predation by the parents or the other fish or what. But they have been able to at least spawn successfully in this tank, which is pretty cool. Also in this tank I have 7 rummy-nosed tetras, 2 or 3 Corydoras catfish, a Siamese algae eater, and a checkered barb. So a lot of these fish are fairly old. It's an old tank. So when I got back home to mess with this tank, I started looking around the tank and I noticed the plants. So as you guys can see, this tank isn't really as heavily planted as some of my other tanks are. So I started looking at the plants specifically. So over here in this corner, I've got Java fern and Java moss. And it looks like it's growing pretty well. I have Java moss all over this tank, and it's doing great. And this is the Java fern lace, and it's also doing pretty well. There's a little bit of algae on it, but overall it's doing pretty well. So also I have some other plants. So I've got, it's an Amazon sword, and it really hasn't grown much at all. It's a very small Amazon sword, as you can see. I also have some dwarf Sagitura sublata, and it really hasn't grown much at all. Actually, and in fact, the dwarf sag used to cover this entire stretch of tank through here, and it's basically gone. And then in the back there, I have Rotala indica, and some of the stems are doing pretty well, but some of them are not. So it's doing so-so. And then over here more, I have more Amazon swords, and then behind that I have Jungle Val, and even the Jungle Val isn't growing well at all. So I looked at that and I thought, well, this can only mean one thing: not enough light. So I checked out my light fixture, which is a high output T5, which is a fluorescent fixture, and I noticed that I really haven't changed the bulbs recently. So I thought, well, that's my problem. So today I ordered a new set of bulbs for this tank, and so I'm hoping when I get those installed that'll help out the plant growth and get things kind of started up again. I'm also going to probably purchase a few new plants kind of in anticipation of getting the new bulbs. I also am going to consider capping this fluorite, which is very old and I'm sure not really doing much for the plants. I may cap that with fluorite sand or just maybe some basic sand, because I noticed my Corydoras catfish, their barbels are worn down pretty badly, and that is typically a sign of them scavenging in a substrate that's maybe a little bit too sharp or too coarse. So I may try to at least cap it with some sand, which is also good for the plants too. So later in the week I plan on posting a video of what I'm going to be doing to the tank. So maybe putting the light bulbs in, putting new plants in, capping the substrate with some sand. So I will post a video when I get going on that aspect of it, just to show you guys kind of the before and after of the tank. So let me know if you have any suggestions or ideas, and I'll see you next time.